Hi, I'm SimmerRue and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am renovating the horrible museum in Dalsel Valley. This is a long video, so let's jump into it. So you are going to see some cuts in this build, but it's not a lot. It's just I kind of struggled to get a floor plan and kind of the initial idea of what I wanted. This is my third community lot that I've ever built. Since my channel, before my channel, I never built community lots before, so this entire thing is like a challenge for me. The previous one was my bar renovation, and before that, like a restaurant that I built. Now I'm really enjoying doing these community lots. I think it's because it's something new, so it feels fresh and it feels exciting and I really enjoy it. So, but yeah, it kind of took me a while to get what I wanted. The structure of this museum is based off of, oh my god, I just forgot the actual museum's name. But it is based off of an actual museum in real life. When we go back into the game and I show you around, I will tell you what the museum's name is. Or I would actually just type it down there in the screen and you can read it. But anyway, so yeah, the outside of this museum is based off of a real museum. I wanted to keep the glass roof because I felt like, I don't know, the Sims team really wanted that. I mean, it's like two massive glass roofs that we had in this build previously, so yeah, I wanted to keep that, and I just googled museums with glass roofs, and two of them came up. One of them is kind of impossible to build in The Sims because it's very round and like the glass roof kind of folds into the build. So yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. So I took that one. Now this light that I placed in the hallway, that's the only thing that goes into that. That is the entrance area. I based everything off of that light. That light was kind of my inspiration, you may say. So this little black extension here that I am placing the doors on now, that is going to be like a little coffee shop. Now there we had our first cut right after that, because then I started placing my first floor plan, which, as I mentioned before, it's not really, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore, so there was no point in me showing it. So, but I kept this. This was from my original video, my first recording, before I decided to change the floor plan. So I wanted like one of those pretentious TV rooms, you know, like what you see in series like Girls and stuff like that. So, and I know that this usually, you get this in like an art exposition? Now I can't get the word. It's not exposition. But it's, yeah. You know, when you come and you show off your art. I apologize, I am not an English speaking person, and sometimes certain words just leave me. But I kind of had the idea that the artist that made this was a really famous artist, so that is why it is in the museum. You will see that the door is also like a unisex bathroom door on the outside. I imagined that that was kind of part of this entire art piece. I don't know, I just played around a lot with things like that, and I just thought it was cool at the moment, so I kind of kept it. So here we have our now another jump. This is where I now actually go into my floor plan that I want my game to have. So I decided to kind of break everything apart. There I just placed the TV room downstairs because it was upstairs. But I made everything in rooms. Initially it was like these open spaces with all of the different art pieces, but then I decided, no, I kind of want every room to feel like this is a certain artist or a certain era or a certain art form. So that's kind of what I then went with, and making rooms actually helped a lot with that. You will also see that there aren't really any windows except for the front part of the house, and then also only on the extension. That is purposefully so. You do not actually want windows in your museum because the light is really damaging. Now, I say that having a massive glass roof, but yeah, it just is what it is. You can only go this so real with it. But yeah, that was kind of my initial thought, and I really didn't want to add a lot of windows because that also just limits the space of where you can place art pieces. Now, those spa day doors, they do change. They become like massive black doors. I imagine that that was kind of the like emergency exits. So that's why they are there. Now, this is our first art room. You will see that everything here is very cohesive. I kind of imagined that this was an artist itself. This is maybe some protest art. This is also the only one that has benches, but I kind of felt like the benches, they're part of the art piece, which is why they are, like why those art stands are like kind of meshed into the bench. So that was kind of my initial idea with this. And then I just added some bowls and some vases. Now, this is the only time that I show me placing the plagues, and it's very tedious, and this video is quite long, so I skip past that furthermore. So I will just show you everything at the end of the build. Now, this is like the space room, so I put in some dead aliens and just some space photographs, and then I just made that room a little bit darker. Yeah, you can also see that the doors have changed. Now, this is my Baroque Renaissance like section. I like the fact that this moved into the TV room because it's kind of like an old versus the modern. And I quite like that idea, so that's why I went with that. Now I'm also just going around and I'm just going to add some statues. So I add like the princess's bust, and then I just add that little dog, and then I change, yeah, I place this little ballerina girl as well. And these plants that I'm placing now, this is the only plants that I use when I do indoor planting. I didn't really want to do a lot of indoor planting. This is a museum, this is not a florist. So this little area here, this is my Salvadorado little section. I'm on the edge with that one. It's very plain, it's small. I wish there was more, but I didn't want to add a lot of paintings and things. You know, like behind those skeletons, because then you can't really see it. It doesn't really make sense for the build that it is. So yeah, I didn't do that, but I'm falling behind. So that there that we just did, that was my Bringleton Bay area. I felt like an artist was really obsessed with Bringleton Bay. Now this area here, this is like homage to the original build. I really wanted the movie set pieces on here, so I felt like this could have been like one of the biggest movies shot in this area, or just some of the biggest movies in general. So that is why that is there, and then just some clothing that they maybe wore as well. Now here is more of our contemporary little section. I really enjoyed this one most. This looks so cool. I also felt like this was one artist, which is why all the colors are very cohesive as well. I also made the, I don't know, this little hoop thingies. They kind of look like I don't really think I can say it on my channel if I want it to be monetized. But if you know, you know. Now, this changes there where I placed all those posters. Because I'm like, after I do this little sport area, because I didn't know what else to do. I was like, okay, let's do some sports. These are famous sport people. I realized that yeah, right there, I remove it. I was like, I didn't place any dinosaurs. And this is a museum, and that massive T-Rex skull came with this pack. So I was very disappointed with myself that I forgot that. So I placed that there. This then turns into my favorite section in this build. I love fossils and dinosaurs, so this looks so cool. And surprisingly, I only had to repeat one fossil, which was the egg. There was like enough spaces for everything, so that was pretty cool. And then it still just looked a little bit empty, so I just went around and I just added some gems from Salvadorado. And then I just added some more skulls there, and then just that massive template behind it. Now, this little area that walks kind of around the staircase, I made this like the collectibles area, so you will see that there's like a lot of crystals, and we're moving downstairs into this little hallway. These art expeditions, things like that, they usually have like these light rooms or like these museums, so that's kind of what I went with. So I added a light room with just some hanging lights, and I felt like that was a vibe. I did the bathrooms off camera because, as mentioned before, there was just a lot to do, so I didn't record me doing that. But now we are in the coffee shop, and I really liked using this get together, like all of the items from that. I felt like that really worked, and then I made my own sign using the eco lifestyle plant wall. I felt like that's quite trendy, so I went with that. I do wish that we had different variants though, but it still looks cool. And then I also used the Snowy Escape, those benches, because I love the fur on it, and I think it just matches this bougie museum. And then I just go around and I add some more seating spots. In your actual gameplay, I don't know, you could probably change this to be a restaurant. You just need to add like a maitre d' booth, or you know, a waiter station, maybe a kitchen. But there is place to expand on this if you don't want this to be a museum and you want it to be used for something else. Now, this is just my outside seating area. I just placed 2 seating spots and then this little like trellis thing that goes across it, and then I added some pillars, and I let the pillars go a little bit over that roof decoration. I kind of like that little cross that it made. Now here our outside area is actually getting a massive change, so I decided to go darker. The original build is white within that extension being black, but I didn't like it, so I went for a more cohesive grey look all around, and I like this more. And with these indents, I went with brick, and I think that really just breaks it apart. And this build already just looks a lot more alive. I then go around and I add these little details. I only show me doing the front part because this is quite tedious, and I go actually quite around the build. But again, I will just show this when we go into the build again. And I thought that that looked really good. I think that that just added what the build needed, because the outside needed something because of it being so plain. Now I'm going around and I am adding some terrain paint. I'm adding this pavement. And I'm using paint because everything is like kind of obstructed, so I can't actually use tiles. They don't really line up. So I wanted you to be able to walk all around the build. That was quite important to me. At this point, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do on the side, so I do go back to that. And then this is kind of like a statue garden walk that you take. And I quite liked that idea, and also I wanted to do a garden. I feel incomplete if I don't do gardens in The Sims. So that was necessary. It was necessary. I go around now and I just add some extra paving and then just some terrain paint. As mentioned, I wanted you to be able to access this build from all areas. So I left pavement walkways all around between all the plants. Now, this is now kind of where I decide, okay, what am I going to do here? I decided, no, that's just too much terrain paint. Let's add some more pavement, make you be able to walk there as well. Just make it a little bit more cohesive. Now, with the terrain paint itself, I kind of go for, as you can see on the side, the already built terrain. Flower beds and things like that. So that's kind of what I went with my flowering and my gardening of this build. I only use those plants that are in there as well. That is debug though, and all of their plants are larger than the actual in-game plants. So you would see that I just made some of the plants a little bit bigger. I didn't want to go for debug because sometimes your Sims would walk through it, or it's quite glitchy. And I didn't really want to go for that glitchy look. It just wasn't a vibe. I wanted this to be accessible. I want you to be able to take your Sims to this lot and they can enjoy it. That was very important to me. I mean, this lot is already such a waste. It's so ugly. I never bring my Sims here in this beautiful world. So I just had to use it. Even though this world is a little bit controversial. I mean, they could add a lot more. I do wish that we could get like a refresh and they could just add some more lots, especially one like beachside lots. Like that would be quite cool, but I don't think that will happen. We haven't really had a world overhaul, so yeah, that's kind of wishful thinking. Now, this side I'm just going around and I'm just adding some more of those plants. You will see that I try to make them look a little bit scattered so that they look like they kind of grew into each other. So they aren't in a perfect line, but yet they are. And yeah, that side I just kind of made it turn around there. And afterwards, I go and I just erase the borders around it, just kind of letting the grass blend into it, like the plants on the upside, on the actual not. What am I saying? Like the gardens that we can see on the side. I'm so sorry. That was such a. What happened there? That was so embarrassing. But anyway. So you can see that I'm just erasing everything and it just looks a little bit more cohesive. Now I am quickly gonna jump into the build and then I will quickly show you around. Here we are in the game. I'm gonna show you first person because some things just tend to disappear. So we are upstairs. This looks so cool. This is like from the crystal area. Just look at how beautiful this looks. So I placed the movie posters here as you rise from the stairs, and I think that looks really good. I really like it. Here is our movie sets. So I had to scale this down also, I forgot to mention. They are quite large and they clip through the roof, but it's fine. And as you can see, all the plaques, not plagues. This isn't a plague. All the plaques are there. Here are the clothing. I placed that one there kind of in front of the director's chair so that your Sims don't go and sit on it. And then this side we also just have those clothing, and then this beautiful throne. Through here we have our dinosaur room. I think this looks great. Just look at how cool this looks, especially from this angle. I love this dinosaur skull, and I love those little skulls that I added at the back as well. I think it looks really good. I think it looks super cohesive. Here is just our sports room. But I think we actually saw quite enough of this, and I don't really like sports, so that's fine. And here is this contemporary area. I'm actually just gonna go out of first person view. It was mostly for the SimmerRue because everything just seemed to disappear there because they are supposed to be so large. So yeah, here we have this room. I think this looks really cool. I love this detail. I did rise this up. I'll scale that up a bit. And then our Bringleton Bay area. This is just the map of Bringleton Bay. I think this looks really cute. Is this... No, this is of the lighthouse area. Sorry, I thought this was Bringleton Bay. Well, it is in Bringleton Bay, but it's the lighthouse. The little... What do you call it? The little island with all the animals. Now, for this light room, I am just quickly going to go into first person again. Because the lights are just going to disappear when you go into it. So, here we have just this beautiful little light display. When you go through this door, this just leads into a little toilet and sink. And on this side's our Salvadorado room. This actually looks a lot better in first person, so we don't actually mind it that much. Now, when you go through here, this is this beautiful room. I absolutely love it. I'm just gonna go out of first person again because it's disorientating me and it's really slow. So... yeah, I just added all these beautiful paintings. As you can see, I added all these little plaques in afterwards. Here is our space room. I think this looks really cool. And then just our first art room, which to me as well just looks absolutely amazing. I absolutely love this. When you go through here, we just have 2 bathrooms, one on this side and one on this side with 4 toilets together. So all in all, we have 5 toilets on this lot. That's more than enough. Yeah, this game doesn't really generate a lot of sums, even though I placed all this seating. But just look at how stunning this looks. I want to come here. I felt like this could have been its own build. And then just the garden, finally the garden. Oh, so beautiful. Now, let me just raise up these walls. So here you can see that I just added all the details down this side. Oh, first person. Keeps on raising me up. So yeah, I just kind of added it here just for some extra detail. I came and I added this on this side as well. As you can see, I added it here. It looks absolutely beautiful. This just adds extra to the building, and I felt like it's really what the building needed. I then also just hid the escape doors, the emergency exit doors, with the same little barriers. Your Sims are probably going to use these doors though, unless you lock it manually in your game. So that's a little tip as well. Thank you so much if you stayed the entirety of this video. I really hope you like this. I am quite nervous about this build. Yeah, because of all of the jumps that it had. And I think that kind of showed in my voiceover because I stumbled over a lot of words. And I do apologize about that. I get nervous. English is not my first language, and especially when I do something experimental like this as well. So bear with me. I've only been here for a month. Now, with that being said, I post daily. So please like and subscribe, and then I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Goodbye.